shut up, you listen to my monkey mouth. There's a companion when you got pun on the Konoha route. Hopped in a portal and got in a fight, Elias knocked him out. Bow, Naruto fighting style. Bow, UFC he tapped out. Bow, we win, we get crowned. Monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth.
Alrighty everybody, welcome back to the Konoha Companion. This is Joshua, as always, and I'm your Konoha Companion. On this episode, we're going to be covering episode 44 of Naruto, entitled AKAMARU Unleashed, Who's Top Dog Now? And before I get too far off into that, I do want to address the new space. It's actually the same space that I've always been in, but before I was over in that side of the room in like the little cave cubbyhole. And now we've got nicer mics. We've got these boom arms. And we're able to actually like record out in like the common area of my little studio. And it's much more comfortable now. I'm enjoying myself a lot more out here. And shout out to my mom, who hooked me up with the microphones and the arms and the fresh new audio interface that allows me to record this way. And so, man, team effort, squad support, really appreciate it always. But before we get too far off track, I do want to go over what happened on the previous episode of Naruto. And in the previous episode, Tenten and Temari had their big fight, right? Temari wants a little bit of a challenge, so she allows Tenten to actually get an attack in first. Tenten attacks, and Temari makes Tenten's shuriken drop out of the sky with a super rapid swipe for Big Fan. Tenten attempts her Rising Twin Dragon's jutsu, and it does nothing. Temari knocks it all out of the way with her fan. Tenten tries again with all of the weapons on the floor at once. She picks them up by controlling them all with strings from her fingers, very much like a Puppet Master jutsu, except she's controlling weapons instead of puppets. Temari yet again sends the weapons all flying and knocks Tenten to the floor with one swipe of her big fan. Temari hits Tenten with the Wind Scythe jutsu. Temari lets Tenten go for her jutsu and lets her land on her back. So Temari knocks her up into the air and has her suspended in the air, hitting her with a whole bunch of rapid wind style attacks. And when she stops the jutsu, she lets Tenten fall, and she stands her fan upright, and Tenten falls on it flat on her back and bends the way you're not supposed to, backbreaker style. I don't know if any of you guys ever watched wrestling back in the day, but they would do a move called a backbreaker, where they'd pick people up and they'd drop them on their back onto their knee. They called it a backbreaker. And that's exactly what she did, except used her fan instead of her knee. She then disrespectfully throws Tenten to the ground, but Lee catches her and confronts Tenten for the disrespect. He goes to hit Tenten with a leaf hurricane, but she blocks it with ease, which ultimately shocks Rock Lee, right? Because Rock Lee's been out here ending fights with a leaf hurricane, and it just got blocked, and she even smirked at him. Guy Sensei de-escalates the situation. Gaara talks shit about Lee and Guy for their weird bond, but Guy sticks up for Lee, basically saying, you guys haven't seen him fight yet, so y'all best shut the hell up, basically. You don't know who you're dealing with. Of course, then again, Guy doesn't know who he's dealing with. Gaara and them are hecka powerful. Hecka powerful. Tenten made short work of her opponent. Konkuro made short work of his opponent. And they're both the weaklings. They're both literally scared of Gaara. And so, I don't think that Guy Sensei necessarily has his head wrapped around exactly who he's dealing with at this point. But that's okay. They'll get it figured out. He's going to fight here in a little bit. Sakura gives Naruto a pep talk and thanks him for helping her overcome the mind transfer jutsu. The next fight is determined to be between Shikamaru and Keen. Keen throws Senbon with bells that make a sound that causes disorientation, paralysis, and hallucinations in Shikamaru. Shikamaru seems to be in a tough spot, but stretched his shadow out underneath the thread line that she was using to jingle the bells. So, like, she had thrown them and the bells were around, and she was pulling them with strings to make them jingle. And he ultimately took his shadow to her via the string. So he ultimately did catch her in his shadow possession jutsu. While they're linked, they mirror movements, so Shikamaru makes them throw shuriken at one another, making it seem like they're playing a game of chicken. But Shikamaru leans back to avoid the attack, and when he does, so too does Keen. But when she goes back, she hits the wall and knocks herself out. In a really clever play by Shikamaru, the Naruto vs. Batman. Give that man prep time. He also gives a little like shit talk about how as a shinobi you need to be absolutely aware of your surroundings and know exactly how that can work to your advantage or disadvantage, and use and ultimately wield that knowledge. It's something that Keen hadn't done as effectively as him. He literally knocked her out with the arena wall. So neato way he did it. Hayate declared Shikamaru the winner, and the next fight is determined to be between Naruto and Kiba. Our guy Naruto, it's coming. We're going to get to see the fight. Kiba thinks that this is good for him. Literally, he even goes so far as to say that I won the lottery here. How foolish. He don't even realize that Nine Tails energy's in there, my god. Rock Lee can't stand the waiting any longer, and Kakashi thinks how much Lee is like Guy at that age. It's Naruto's time to shine, and the episode ends, right? And so, now that we're all caught up, we know where we're at, this episode starts, and it goes a little ways back in kind of traditional Naruto fashion, but Naruto and Kiba are announced as the next fight. Kiba thinks that he's literally just bingoed. He even, like I said, goes so far as to say that he's hit the lottery. Kakashi tells Naruto to go show everyone exactly how much he's grown, right? Kakashi's the only one out of all the upper ranking, the village elders, as it were, who's familiar with the amount of growth that Naruto's put on him, and everybody's kind of going to be expecting Naruto to lose. Remember, Naruto is the bottom of the class, Sasuke is top of the class, Sakura is middle of the class, and they're together to make like a cohesive, balanced group, and Naruto is the weakling of the group per the measurement of the Leaf Village. And so everybody, just remembers him as like the student who took 3 years to graduate and who, can't even cast proper jutsu, and like he's just not that impressive to everybody in the village who hasn't seen what he's done out there against, the likes of Orochimaru and Zabuza, right? Most people aren't even aware of that at all. I mean, the Orochimaru fight literally just happened. In this Chunin exams, like they haven't even had an opportunity to really rest since that happened. So it's all happening very quickly right now. Naruto's super excited and calls this his time to shine, and the title slide comes in, at which point Naruto reads Akamaru Unleashed, who's top dog now. Hayate Gecko, the proctor of the third exam, the guy with the bad cough and the bad hair, stands between them and announces that this is the fight to everybody. Naruto talks some shit, and Kiba talks the shit right back. These two are both game to talk some shit. Kiba sets Akamaru on the ground, and Naruto protests that the puppy's only going to get in the way. Kiba demands that he never goes into battle without Akamaru, and Akamaru barks in agreement. And the way that Akamaru and Kiba communicate is really cute. Like Akamaru is one of my absolute favorites. Kiba's fun, but Akamaru is that dude. Don't make any mistake. Akamaru is that dude in Josh's world. Naruto again protests that this must be against the rules, but Hayate confirms that it's within the rules, and he compares Kiba using the dog to Shikamaru using the bugs, and says that Kiba's part of Shino. Or excuse me, Akamaru is part of Kiba. Now, obviously, Akamaru isn't living inside of Kiba like the bugs are living inside of Shino. But the point is, they're letting Kiba use the dog. Get over it. Naruto laughs and mocks that he does his best to work with a handicap anyways. Kiba tells Akamaru to stay there and to leave the fighting to him, right? So at this point, Kiba's like, got a point to prove. Like, I don't need this dog. I'm going to fight you. Kurenai thinks that Naruto doesn't stand a chance against Kiba. Remember, Kurenai is Kiba's sensei, right? Kurenai is the leader of, I believe, Team 8. Team 10 is Ino Shikacho. I can't remember who Team 9 is. So yeah, Team 8 or 9. I can't remember which team they are off the top, but not 7 and not 10. The team with Kiba, Shino, and Hinata. And Kurenai is their sensei. And Kurenai is thinking that Naruto doesn't stand a chance. Hinata is clearly conflicted between trying to choose who to pull for, right? She, on the one hand, wants to pull for Naruto because he's her crush. And on the other hand, wants to pull for Kiba because he's her teammate. Kiba, before they fight, wonders to himself how much Naruto has grown since becoming a genin. At this point, he thinks back to how bad Naruto was in the beginning, right? Like I alluded to earlier. Unable to even do a proper transformation jutsu and getting scolded by Aruka. Kiba and the rest of the class laugh at his attempted transformations. Kiba even mocks Naruto for not being able to make a proper transformation after 3 years in the academy. And even goes so far as to call him a joke and mocks Naruto's ambition to try and become Hokage. Kiba, in this flashback, still says he's going to end Naruto, so the flashback ends, and they're still having their standoff, and Kiba mocks that he's going to end Naruto with one shot, and Naruto claps back saying that Kiba's dumber than he looks. Hayate tells him to start, and Kiba immediately casts a hand sign, casting his ninja art beast mimicry, all fours jutsu. And just to be clear, ninja art, so I think I actually misspoke on this earlier in the season, and ninja art isn't necessarily a Kekkei Genkai. A ninja art is a type of jutsu that's done like a ninjutsu. That not a taijutsu, but it can be a taijutsu. Either way, it's a jutsu that's cast that involves infusing chakra, but doesn't involve also transforming that chakra into an elemental form, right? Not wind, not fire, not whatever else, water, whatever. It's just straight infused chakra. Like mind transfer jutsu is a ninja art. Right? There's just the infusion of chakra and something neat being done. Shikamaru's shadow possession jutsu is also a ninja art because they're not utilizing any elements. You feel me? That's the difference. If you're utilizing an element, it's not a ninja art. If I'm not mistaken. And so, like I said, he uses his beast mimicry all fours jutsu, and chakra starts emanating and steaming out of him. He gets on all fours, and his hands become claws, claw-like. His fingers get kind of bigger. His fingernails turn into claws. You know what I'm saying? It's like man beast. He charges forward and body checks Naruto to the floor. As Naruto lays there, Kiba tells Hayate to call the match, and everyone in the stands is embarrassed for Naruto, and like remarking amongst themselves how weak Naruto is. Right, like this was the expectation. He was a weakling, and it looks like he's been knocked out with one shot. Sakura looks back at Kakashi with concern, but Kakashi just smiles and laughs, and this allows Sakura to breathe a sigh of relief, realizing that if Kakashi isn't concerned about it, neither should she. She then thinks how she used to mock Naruto for his ambition, and she flashes back to when Naruto was introducing himself to Kakashi and them whenever they were first being assigned him as an instructor. And Naruto is demanding that he'll be Hokage one day and that everybody's going to stop disrespecting him and treat him like somebody important. She also flashes back to like several key moments along Naruto's growth to this point, including him coming face to face with Zabuza, several of the interactions between him and Sasuke, including Sasuke mocking him for being a fraidy cat, him charging forward at Orochimaru, him stopping the giant snake that was summoned by Orochimaru in the Forest of Death, his clap back to Sasuke, asking Sasuke if he's a fraidy cat, Naruto smashing the clones from the hidden rain ninja in the Forest of Death, as well as him demanding that he'll never go back on his word that's the way of the ninja. She then thinks that she was wrong for ever doubting him back then. Down in the arena, Naruto clenches his fists and stands up as Kiba is like walking away. He stands up and demands for Kiba to never underestimate him, and this is also like a general address to everybody in earshot. All of Naruto's friends are pumped, and even Shikamaru thinks to himself how much Naruto has grown. And when I say his friends, I mean like Rock Lee, Sakura, Kakashi, those guys, the people who are typically pulling for him. Naruto at this point mocks Kiba for saying he let him hit him. He mocks Kiba and informs Kiba that he let Kiba hit him so that he could determine how hard he hits, and that basically he hits like an old lady, and that he'd be better served sending the puppy in to fight in his stead because he doesn't stand a chance. This obviously angers Kiba, and he charges forward, this time with AKAMARU. And as he charges, he throws smoke grenades at Naruto, which engulf Naruto in smoke. While Naruto is blinded, Kiba hits him several times. Naruto gets frustrated with this and tries to escape the smoke, falling right into Kiba's trap. Just as Naruto exits the smoke, AKAMARU pounces on him, knocking him back into the cloud of smoke. Kiba lands outside of the smoke, and it can be heard AKAMARU and Naruto tussling, right? Kiba's real confident about how things are going. Everybody in the stands are like, man, this is the best part, and I'm not getting to see it, etc. The smoke clears, and Naruto is laid out on the ground with AKAMARU sitting and like wagging his tail in excitement. Kiba begins to celebrate and calls AKAMARU over, who runs to him, leaps, bites Kiba's arm, and latches on, to the shock of everyone, particularly Kiba. As Kiba asks AKAMARU what he's doing, Naruto laughs and yells, "Gotcha!" And it turns out that Naruto had transformed into AKAMARU and used this to close the distance on Kiba. Naruto, however, has to stop and spit, though, because, according to him, Kiba smells worse than the dog. Kiba asks where AKAMARU is, and the clone Naruto that was on the ground when the smoke cleared holds up Akamaru by the paws and mocks that he's got him right here, right? And so, again, just to be clear, what happened here is Kiba charged him, threw smoke bombs, was whooping his ass. Naruto tried to leave the smoke and got pounced by Akamaru. Akamaru and Naruto tussled in the smoke. While it was still smoky, Naruto subdued Akamaru and had a clone like grapple him and lay on the ground and cover him up so that you couldn't see him. And then Naruto transformed into Akamaru so that when the smoke cleared, Kiba would mistake Naruto for Akamaru. And then once the jutsu was broken, Naruto, the clone version of Naruto, who didn't bite Kiba but was the one who was originally laying on the ground, reveals that he's holding Kiba. Or that he's holding Akamaru, rather. So, a little bit of trickery, a little bit of sleight of hand there. Naruto coming up with a clever plan in a pinch. This shocks everybody, right? All of Naruto's friends are pumped, and even the people who haven't been necessarily believing in him to this point are all outspokenly impressed. Shikamaru, who's like the smartest ninja in the lower classes, even remarks that to balance a clone and a transformation jutsu at the same time is way beyond what he thought Naruto would be capable of doing. And that this isn't the Naruto that they used to know. He doesn't know what's happened out there since when they were in school and now, but like this is a different character that we need to account for a little bit differently than we all thought. All the elders seem impressed as well. Kakashi, Kurenai, Hokage, Azuma, they all seem pleasantly surprised. At this point, Kiba takes a deep breath and pulls a food pill out from his pouch. He advises that Naruto let Akamaru go as he flicks the pellet into Akamaru's mouth. Naruto seems confused by this, and before he knows it, Akamaru is turning from white to orangish brown and becomes much more aggressive, while Naruto is literally still holding on to him. Akamaru kicks his way out of Naruto's grasp, and Naruto questions what's happening. Kiba mocks and asks if he really wants to stick around and find out, as he eats a food pill of his own. Kurenai thinks that Kiba's going in for the kill, and Kiba calls Akamaru over and squats down, casting a hand sign, while Akamaru stands on his head, and Kiba casts his beast mimicry, man-beast clones jutsu. And this turns Akamaru into a clone of Kiba, and Kiba takes on a slightly different form. It's the same form that he had during the All Fours jutsu, where he's slightly more animalistic. He's like squatted down like a predator. He's got the claws, and now there's two of them, right? And so it's clearly like a pretty bad situation for Naruto. Naruto remarks on how Kiba has a crazy look in his eye and protests that eating food pills mid-match is cheating. Hayate again calls food pills just another tool and that they're within the limits. Shikamaru questions what Kiba just ate, and Choji explains that food pills are basically supplements that the military cooked up to boost the vigor and strength of those who eat them. And he goes on to say that those who'd taken them in the past had been known to be able to fight for 3 days and nights straight. But that the longer they use the food pills, the higher the anxiety and exhaustion experienced afterwards is. And that Kiba and Akamaru have both at least doubled in strength after taking them. And so this is a big deal, right? And just remember, food pills are basically like stat boosters, right? You take a food pill, you get stronger, you get more vigorous. They're like meant to boost you up. They're like super supplements from the military. Which, how that's fair, I don't know. But in this circumstance, they're allowing it. That's their deal. I don't make the rules. Asuma Sensei tells the squadlings of Team 10 that this is bad for Naruto because Kiba already fights like an animal, and doubling his strength is a perfect jutsu for Kiba, and it's going to be hard to overcome, right? Like, Asuma, as a village elder, has seen enough out of Kiba to know that, like, the type of fighter that he is, this is a really, really good tool to use for him. Kiba and Akamaru, who at this point are indifferentiable, both charge Naruto simultaneously, but he dodges the attack. They begin to attack one after another, and Naruto struggles to avoid taking damage. He's so on his back foot he can't even find a way to counterattack. He winds up leaping way into the air to kind of avoid the attacks, get some space, and catch his breath. And as he does this, Kiba looks into the sky and thinks that he's got Naruto right where he wants him, and does his man-beast ultimate taijutsu, Fang over Fang. And this is one of the cool jutsus that Kiba does. Like you said, it's the ultimate taijutsu, Fang over Fang. And him and Akamaru both independently run towards Naruto, and they start spinning. Like, imagine like a corkscrew, man. Like, they're literally spinning at him so fast that they just look like spinning tubes coming at Naruto, and they come at Naruto at the same time and collide and hit Naruto at the same time. And this sends Naruto flying through the air into the floor. Kiba stands over Naruto and triumphantly demands that he told him he was going to get serious. Naruto groans from the ground that he's going to be Hokage, but like literally can't even pick his face up off the ground. Kiba mockingly asks how Naruto's going to do that when he's laying flat on his face. He then laughs and demands that he's going to be Hokage, and then laughs even more, almost like maniacally. He then tells Naruto a weakling like him can never be Hokage, and that he must be weak in the head. Like, not only are you weak physically, but you must be weak in the head to think that you're going to be Hokage one day. Hinata, however, in the stands, thinks on how she knows that Naruto isn't weak, and that Naruto believes in himself. That nothing comes easy to him, and that he's never given up, even though he was alone with no one watching or helping, and with no one caring what happens to him. No one respected or acknowledged him, but now everyone's watching, and everyone's acknowledging him. Right? So basically, Hinata knows that Naruto is a badass, and he's been being a badass in silence with no one watching, and now, like, you better believe he's going to keep that up now that people are watching, and Hinata believes in him. It should also be noted that Hinata saw all of this because she was watching Naruto. So I know she says nobody was watching you, but Hinata was watching, bro. Like, Hinata's low-key super fan, bro. Put some respect on that Hinata name. Naruto stands up in spite of the beating that he's been dealt by Kiba to this point, and he stares Kiba down. There's blood dripping down from his face, and he tells Kiba, "You'll have to put off your dream of becoming Hokage because I'm the top dog around here." And the episode ends. And it's neat how the episode ended with Naruto going, "I'm the top dog around here." It's a callback to the title. And a bunch of neato stuff happened this episode. You know, we really only got, like, you know, presumably half to a third the way through the fight between Naruto and Kiba. At this point, Naruto has basically just gotten his ass beat. He's been hit directly by all of the jutsu that Kiba's thrown his way. I absolutely love that Hinata is a ride or die for Naruto, right? There was a scene where Hinata became overwhelmed and started cheering for Naruto, and she was right next to Sakura, and Sakura was cheering for Naruto, And it's just really nice to see Naruto winning over the affection and love and respect of his village mates and classmates and fellow ninjas, right? Because that's all he's ever wanted, was to be respected and treated like, to not be disrespected, to be respected, and to be treated like someone important. Remember, this kid is an orphan who's lived out on his own for forever, and who's literally painting graffiti on the stone faces so that he can get some form of attention from the village elders and stuff, so it's really, really nice for him to be able to be in front of everybody and for everybody to be able to acknowledge him the way that they did. And ultimately everybody wound up being pleasantly surprised with Naruto, from kind of his like little low-key rivals in Shikamaru and Choji to the bad guys at this point, the Sand siblings. Obviously Gaara didn't say anything because he's a silent weird freak, but both Tamari and Kankuro remarked on how formidable Naruto is. I think they even went so far as to say that he's got his jutsu down, that's for sure. Is a quote that I pulled out of there from the back of my brain. I love how Kakashi was just not even concerned in the slightest, right? Naruto took the all fours jutsu right to the face and got knocked to the floor, and everybody was like, the fight's over, and Kakashi's just like, literally having a smile and a laugh about that shit. He's seen enough. He knows how tough Naruto is. Naruto is low-key tank. Don't ever forget it. Homie can take the punches to the face. Naruto, like I said, is getting to show out in front of everyone, finally. You know what I'm saying? Kakashi told him at one point that he was the one who'd grown the most out of everybody on Team 7, and now he's getting to showcase that in a big way in front of everybody, and it's amazing. Even the smartest young ninja around, Shikamaru, was shocked by the amount of progress that Naruto had made since the last time that Shikamaru was able to watch and determine Naruto's skill set and abilities. As I said, even members of the Sand siblings seemed impressed. Kiba's jutsus are fun. He gets to use Akamaru, right? There's the beast mimicry all fours jutsu, where he kind of takes on the more animalistic form. He's steaming chakra. He's got like claw fingers. He also utilizes smoke bombs to gain an advantage over his opponents. He also will use food pill upgrades on him and Akamaru to gain an advantage over his opponents. He can also do the beast mimicry man-beast clones, which is like a step up from the all fours jutsu, because he's basically making a clone of himself in the all fours jutsu, like the beast mimicry mode. I think that there's like beast mimicry mode, and then from within the beast mimicry mode you're doing these different jutsu, right? And so he gets to put himself in the beast mimicry mode, and then he can make a clone of himself with Akamaru, and so now there's two of him in beast mimicry mode, and then at that point he can do the all fours jutsu, or his like ace card that he pulled out, which was the man beast ultimate taijutsu Fang over Fang, where him and Akamaru both charge in simultaneously while spinning and kind of sandwich their opponent and send them flying. And it's a Nito jutsu. It sent Naruto flying, but obviously it wasn't enough to finish Naruto. At this point, we've gotten to see Kiba use Akamaru, use the all fours jutsu, use the smoke bombs, use the food pill upgrades, use the man beast clones and the Fang over Fang, and Naruto hasn't even used a single jutsu. I take it back. He used two jutsu. He used a transformation jutsu and a clone jutsu to gain an advantageous position over Kiba, but Kiba ultimately was able to trump card his way out of it by taking the food pills, and Akamaru was able to wriggle from his grip. And so it's going to be really, really interesting to see how the rest of the fight goes. I can't imagine that it's going to go too good for Kiba, considering that the main character is Naruto, right? And also, we basically just got given an entire episode of Kiba cashing out and hitting Naruto with everything that he can. I mean, he literally referred to his Fang over Fang as the ultimate man beast taijutsu. And so I don't know if he's got anything in the hole that's necessarily stronger. We're going to certainly see it in the next episode. But at this point, I think that Kiba's probably effectively cashed himself out, done all the cool stuff that he can. I mean, he's gone so far as to throw smoke bombs, take food pills, and use the ultimate taijutsu Fang over Fang, and it still hasn't been able to stop Naruto, and so I don't know if there necessarily is any stopping Naruto. And so, I mean, I say there is, right? If you're Orochimaru and you tail slap that fool into a tree and knock him out, it's literally up to Sakura to stick him to a tree with a kunai to save him from certain death, falling, however far. So he can be stopped, but it takes like legendary Sannin level power to knock him out. What Kiba's doing right now isn't necessarily getting the trick done. He's got him battered and bloodied, but he's clearly ready for more, and I don't know if Kiba necessarily has more to offer. But we're going to find out next episode, presumably, unless they throw a filler in or it's a whole episode of flashbacks or whatever. I don't necessarily recall. It's been years and years since I watched this the first time. I watch these episodes on the fly, and I write a synopsis about it, and then I offer my thoughts on it, right? And that's where we're at. And I haven't seen the next episode in a very long time. I don't necessarily recall what's going to happen at this point, but I know that whenever I watch it, I'm going to be able to remark on it and keep you guys all properly oriented, so that we can watch it and have a good time and not be terribly confused. And so if there's anything going on in the show that you don't have your head properly wrapped around, hop in the comments, shoot me a DM, whatever you need to do, right? But get your questions across to me however you need to, and I will happily get them answered. And if it doesn't make sense, if I'm like a whole bunch of episodes down the road and you ask me a question that pertains to something in a if I'm on episode 60 and you want to ask about episode 30, I can always make a quick short kind of addressing whatever question or concern you have, because a bunch of these things are quite confusing, especially if you're an English-speaking person who isn't familiar with words like Kekkei Genkai, taijutsu. All these different words can be very difficult to keep track of, and I'm here to help you keep track of it and stay oriented, because I'm your Konoha companion. And again, I'm Joshua. It's been a pleasure having you here. I hope that you like the new audio quality and the new set and setting, and I'm really looking forward to continuing this. We're finally getting to see some progress, and we're seeing the hard work pay off. And so again, I'm happy that I don't have a huge following right now, but I know there's some of y'all out there, and I appreciate every single one of you sincerely from the bottom of my heart. And for all the people who aren't listening yet but do find this later, I appreciate you all the same. Seriously, it's all love. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I hope that I'm able to help you and better enjoy the Naruto anime. And so with that, again, I'm Joshua. I'm your Konoha companion. Peace, everybody.
Monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth.